Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Welcome back to another live stream, another live show. Pretty much daily, although the times vary. I'm trying my very best to keep up. I have had a very slow day because yesterday was a very fast day. Lots going on. And obviously, it was pre-season. I said, you know what? I'm going to have a few drinks. I'm going to have a few. And I was extremely hungover. And that's why I didn't stream earlier. So feeling better now. Still a bit tired, obviously. But I've had plenty of sleep. And I am revved up and ready to go. And just talk about what I saw against Bayer Leverkusen. And obviously just hear what you have to think about what you saw as well. I think ultimately, we have to be impressed in terms of the result and some of the individual performances, but also obviously we've got to speak about the team and what the team were able to produce. And I think that it was a strong lineup. It was nice watching the players walk onto the pitch. Straight past the Club World Cup trophy where they come out. I thought that was brilliant. Although I was on the opposite side, I was in the west lower stand, which I never ever sit in, but I did sit in it for that particular game. And yeah, I mean, I can't believe that we're back. Honestly, I don't feel like we've had a break. I mean, I know that not everybody's gone to America and stuff like that, so maybe that's part of it, but just feels like I haven't had a minute to breathe. So so anyway, but it's good to be back. And another game against Milan obviously coming up on Sunday, and then we got Crystal Palace on the weekend as well. That is also a Sunday kickoff, which is probably frustrating to a lot of people because we do generally prefer Saturday kickoffs, but it's not the end of the world. 2:00 local time in the UK. It's okay. Right. So let's hello to the chat. How are we all doing, guys? Where are you, Mr. Well, I'm here. What's up? Good to see you, Patricky. Big up Harry as well. Hope you're doing well, mate. 41 stars. Yusuf says, you good, Alex? See you tomorrow after the game. Will be nice to see how Magic Mike plays against us. PS, give us the free win. Yes, that would be good. Steve wasn't there, actually. No, I did speak to Steve. He said to me, I'm not going to the preseason games, but he should be at the Palace one. So I look forward to seeing him there. Enzo missed the match because of a minor thigh injury. I wasn't fully aware of why he missed it. But I mean, it was good to see other players featuring regardless, because I do think Enzo Fernandez at this moment is starting ahead of Andre Santos. That's what I would guess. Josh was so good. I don't want us to go for a new centre back. I thought he played really well. Yeah. Oh, wake up, Alex. Yeah, and I mean, looking at the lineup as well, obviously we had, I can put it up on screen for you, to be fair. It was a strong lineup, guys. It was a strong lineup. And also, apparently it was Jamie Gittins' birthday, if I'm not wrong. It was his birthday. So happy birthday to Jamie Gittins. Nice for him to make his debut at Stamford Bridge. And, be involved in overall a successful day for the club. Also, how ironic was it seeing Ten Hag on the sideline while Leverkusen were losing? I was just thinking to myself, isn't this classic? Literally watching another team lose against Chelsea. This is absolutely brilliant. I just thought it was great. If I can find... Oh, shit, yeah. Nunes has left Liverpool as well, guys. Don't know if you've seen that. He's gone. He is gone. Damn. 50 million quid. 46 million quid. That's a lot of money. Me and Alex must have contributed at least half of Garnacho's transfer fee at the bar. I did, to be fair, I did say this. I said, listen, if they say we can't afford this Garnacho deal, the amount of beers that I bought last night and Cam, I think we're going to get over the line. Hope you're doing well, Cam. See you tomorrow. Fan Cam was ruined last night by about 50 ads for Brooks. Who's Brooks? Sorry, who is that? Is that a sponsor or something? I don't control which ads pop up on the fan cams because I don't control that. If we have a sponsor, obviously I control it, but I don't control what YouTube decide to put on there. So so it was you that Cams was in the negotiations. Gittins Gittins makes a positive impression than George, who was wasteful. Good to see you, Alex. Keep up the content. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Big up, bro. Good to see you yesterday. Good to see you, Terry, mate. Hope you're doing well. Sydney, hello. What's going on with Xabi and Garnacho? Well, Xavi Simons, no further updates. Although I'm sure things will start to move in a better direction now. Well, not necessarily a better direction, but we'll get more clarity, right? Because I think Leipzig were probably more focused on the Sesko deal. It's more money. It's a player that ultimately was going to be of more value in terms of a transfer. So I think that we're going to find out probably in the next week or so whether we're going to move forward or not. Because I think if it doesn't move forward in a week, I think it's going to be difficult. Because obviously the player's going to want to leave as well. And I mean, I'm hearing other clubs that have been interested, but nothing concrete. How long are you going to wait? But a decision's got to be made at some point. And I think that Chelsea probably need to be a little bit more lenient on this one. Just spend the extra 4 million, 5 million, whatever it is. And with Garnacho, that's on Man United, not Chelsea, because we're not in a position where we have to sell. I would argue that, obviously we're still in a strong position for Xavi Simons because he's only got a year left on his deal. But the thing is that he's already a player that's widely appreciated throughout Europe. And I think that somebody else would pay the money if we didn't. Whereas Garnacho, I don't see anyone paying the money. So I think Chelsea's one of those clubs who's basically saving United and giving them an opportunity to at least get something. Because there's not even any interest from anywhere else. The Napoli interest that's gone away. They really should have accepted that deal in January. That's 45 million. And last night's fan cam had ads every 20 seconds. Never saw anything so bad before. Well, that's not good, is it? Every 20 seconds. I mean, bloody hell. Well, I can certainly look into that for you. And apologies if it wasn't. Well, yes, it's shit, isn't it? Stop and start. So, that's not great. I will absolutely look into that. Do you think they will need to get Harvey Elliott before they accept a bid for Xavi Simons? No, not necessarily. But, I mean, that could be part of it. I mean, I'd almost argue the opposite way around as well. I mean, I don't know what the financial situation is for RB Leipzig. I don't know if they're pretty cozy or if they're struggling. It seems like they're able to command decent fees for players. So I would be surprised if they're not in a good financial situation, especially after this Sesko deal. And then Xavi Simons just makes it even better. I don't know. That's the God honest truth. I'm not sure. You now want Garnacho rather than Simons? No, I never said that. I want both. Xavi transfer has Osimhen vibes. Although you've got to remember, I'm pretty sure he's agreed or very close to agreeing personal terms with Chelsea. We know Garnacho already has. So I think that's where it is a bit different because the issue is not with the player, it's with the club. Whereas with Osimhen, it was all about the player. Not being willing to agree a contract or personal terms, but we would have absolutely found an agreement with Napoli if we would have sorted out a wage. I went to the Chelsea game against Leverkusen. That's good. What did you think? I still say we need a goalie. Well, you're not wrong. I'm not. I don't disagree with that. Chelsea is so back. Selling Jackson and Nkunku is real ambition. Well, you could say that, it's good financially, but I wouldn't say that makes us more ambitious. I mean, they're two very good players that can help the team. But if you're replacing them with other good players and you make a profit especially on Jackson, get your money back for Nkunku, then it's not terrible business, is it? I think Jackson's great. But I will say this, you will not get a better third choice striker in this market. And we've already offloaded Mark Guiu. So when you look at it like that, what happens if Pedro gets injured? What happens if Delap gets injured? You only have one. And then you're playing in all of these different competitions. Are we then going to have to play Pedro Neto up front again? Like, what's our solution going to be then? So I've always said that for any more than we sold Madueke for, if you sell Jackson for that amount, so if Madueke is going for 52, then you sell Jackson for at least 55, which seems to be cheap based on what Chelsea are quoting. This is 80 million. So let's just say 65. That's a great deal anyway. Then I don't have a problem with that, but I think you do have to appreciate the depth that you have with Jackson. And this is not like a rubbish, poor Premier League striker. He's a good striker who could play for the majority of teams in the Premier League and start. Garnacho News is quiet today. You think even Vega has a small chance of getting back into the team? Again, not sure, mate. I personally have always said that I'd rather not have him, but that's an emotional reason rather than a footballing reason. Why do we want Garnacho, brother? Big up, Alex. Because he can be very cheap. He's young. I think he could actually do well at Chelsea. I think he's actually a good player as well. Like, I'm not joking when I say that. I don't think he necessarily starts for us all the time, but there's definitely a player there. And everything about Chelsea at the moment is better than Man United. So what happens when you put yourself in a better environment? In any walk of life, you improve. That's generally what happens, because everything around you is better. So I believe that that's what can happen with Garnacho. And I believe we won't make a loss even if he flops. So it doesn't make any sense not to do it from a financial perspective, and on a footballing side. It gives us more depth and it improves our squad. It doesn't make us worse. Do I think there could be a swap deal? No. I doubt Jackson will want to stay being third choice after being the only choice. You're absolutely right. It seems like he is going. So there's not even any point of we're speaking about it as if, will he leave? Will he stay? I mean, Fabrizio Romano has literally come out and pretty concretely said, that Jackson is gone. He's not going to stay at Chelsea. He's not going to continue at the club. And Chelsea are actively looking to get rid of both Nicholas Jackson and Nkunku. And I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it because they both want to leave. I think that there's certainly... I mean, Nkunku's been treated poorly by the club, so no doubt why he would want to leave. Jackson, it's circumstantial, isn't it? He wants game time. And he doesn't want to be in a position where he's on the bench for us. It's like, I respect it. I don't have a problem with it. And we're going to make great profit out of that deal. Big up to Jordan. Again, yeah, I'm with you on that, Josh. It's very strange. Would you really miss Jackson and Noni? No, I wouldn't miss Noni, but I would miss Jackson. I like Jackson. I've always been a fan of Jackson. Delap is slow in comparison to Jackson. We'll regret selling him. We need a top keeper to create competition. No one really available. Who would you buy? Well, I would have kept Petrovic, if I'm honest. I wouldn't have bought anyone. I just wouldn't have sold Petrovic. I would have kept him. But what do I think we should do now? I think that we'll probably end up waiting for Maignan on a free or Donnarumma on a free. And I think that Maignan is the most realistic out of those two options because he's got a cheaper wage. So that's my opinion on that. Let's be honest, Madueke and Jackson fighting for that penalty was their end. Please show your video. I can do it quickly. All right.
It's not yours. We have a penalty changer. He's already got a hat-trick. He's already got a hat-trick. He's got a hat-trick. I'll let Madueke take this You in charge or not, Potts?
Yeah, I remember this. What a day that was, though. 6-0, right? Could have been a lot. Could have been a lot worse. I mean, that was the highlight of the day, which was a shame because there were so many positives to talk about. There you go. I've seen the fan cam on you and Father last night. I love the way you said to Charlie, hold the microphone. And Charlie trusts the process. Father said he's not scared of other teams. Funny stuff, lol. It was a funny fan cam. It was funny. Jackson was never a striker. We converted him into the role. The Champions League draw will happen on the 28th of August. I'm looking forward to that one. I will not be vlogging tomorrow. No, I won't. Okay, let's go through player ratings, guys. Let's look at what we've got, and I want to see what you have to say. Let's start off with Philip Jorgensen in goal. What do we make of his performance? Because me personally, I actually thought Jorgensen made one or two decent saves. I just need to see how many shots they had during the game. I feel like Leverkusen, they had a couple, but not many. 3 shots in total. 1 off target and 2 on target. But if I'm not wrong, both of those shots forced saves from Jorgensen, and like he dealt with them. So Me personally, well, I'll wait. I'll see what you've got to say in the chat. I'd probably say 6.5. Yeah, that's what I would say. 6.5 out of 10. What are you saying, guys? Hey, that's a pretty good rating, to be fair. 7. Okay, maybe I'm being a bit harsh. Maybe I should go a little bit further then. Yeah, so okay, we'll go with a 7. I feel like 7's fair, isn't it? Jorgensen 7, Gusto. I thought he was involved, especially in the first half. I was happy with what I saw from Gusto. Might have given the ball away once or twice, but yeah, I personally think that Gusto needs to be one of the players that's utilised this season. I think that he can be a real asset to us and what we're doing. The main thing is as long as he is given the freedom to at least push up the field and just do what he does best. I'm not sitting here saying you have to be doing the the yo-yo, which is like a running exercise where you go up and down and up and down. I'm not saying that up and down the pitch, but give the guy the freedom to at least overlap. And if it's a specific time, if there is a certain pattern, if there's a certain moment where he's supposed to do that, so there's a little bit of structure behind it, then no problem. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I can't deal with is I cannot deal with because they're not being allowed to overlap. I just can't deal with it. And nothing will frustrate me more this season than seeing Gusto restricted. I think it's just I think it's just a very pointless tactical decision. I mean, we see Cucurella getting up the pitch, which, to be fair, I actually think he's really grown under Maresca. I think that we've seen a different side to Cucurella. So credit to him. But I want to see Gusto just being given a little bit more freedom. But I mean, you can't see that over one game. You can see that over a number of games. But yeah, I mean, going back to that free kick save as well from Jorgensen, I just watched the replay on as well. That was a sick save. That was a really good save. And it was a good free kick as well. So yeah, big up to Jorgensen for that. I was happy with what I saw from Delap in terms of his involvement. I do appreciate there is a little bit less pace from him compared to Jackson. That's fine, but you've got to appreciate you've got different players there, right? They're going to offer different qualities, and ultimately you've got to play in a slightly different way in order to get the best out of both of them. If you got Jackson, you probably won't do as many crosses, but if you have Delap, then maybe that's something you want to utilize more. So for me, Delap is a player that I think will thrive in this team. Not necessarily like a João Pedro in terms of being our number one striker. I do think just based on all-round ability, what we've seen so far, it's hard to look past João Pedro in the next few weeks at least. But I can see Delap being that sort of second striker that we can count on, and that's what you want. You want someone else that, right? You need to come in as a substitution. You got 20 minutes left in the game. Let's bring someone on. Or maybe João Pedro's injured, and you say, right, next couple of weeks we need to lean on you. Make it happen. And I think that Delap will step up. I already do. I don't know how many goals he'll score. I'm not going to make that prediction. Big up to everyone watching on all platforms. If you're on X, there's over 300 of you. On YouTube, just under 100. Smash that like button if you haven't already, people. I'll have a quick check now. We're on 29 likes as it stands. Let's get up to at least 50 on YouTube. If you're on X, you can like, you can retweet. It all helps. So let's see if we can get up to 100 likes on X as well. And yeah, just going back to what I was saying about the fullbacks. Yeah, I think that would be key, what we do there. I also think that, defensively, it would be interesting to see how we can handle not having Levi Cole in the squad. In fairness, I think we were pretty good defensively. Again, only 3 shots for Bayern Leverkusen. That's not a bad. Yeah, it's not bad at all. I think that's pretty good. If we could have that in the majority of games, I don't think anyone would complain. So yeah, with players like Tosin, with players like Chalobah, Badiashile obviously coming back for Fana, coming back in not too long at all, could potentially be available against Crystal Palace. I could see us continuing to get a lot of clean sheets, and I think another reason for that is because of the quality that they're going to have in front of them. Don't forget that the players that you have around you do impact the way that you play as well. Like we saw, for example, let's just say the season before, when Robert Sanchez got injured, Petrovic came in, and we did see our defenders looking a little bit better because of it. And I think that that's because they felt more confident just having a goalkeeper that they knew they could count on, and he's a little bit more predictable. Let's just put it like that. So that applies to the midfield. That applies all around the pitch. If everyone else is performing to a higher level, then it makes the defenders' jobs easier. If you've got strikers pressing from the front and you've got wingers tracking back, so it's not all about how are the centre backs going to play. Obviously, we know they need to perform. I think a big part of this is how everyone works together as a team. And looking at what Chelsea have certainly had on Maresca, and one thing I've never questioned is that the players have played for the manager. I've always believed that there has been an effort. Yeah, I've never ever looked at this team and thought these guys aren't trying. And I think that attitude, hopefully we continue seeing that attitude. That attitude is going to be so pivotal defensively this season. And having players like João Pedro, for example, who I think is a workhorse, other players, that mentality is going to rub off. And I hope that, I hope we can continue that. I mean, just looking at João Pedro as well, coming on, getting another goal. It doesn't even look like he's playing at 100%. That was like that's like a training finish. And that is such a good sign. Take a touch, shoot, bang, in the goal. How many touches would Nicholas Jackson have taken? Or if he did take any touches, I mean, would he have scored the goal? I think we can all agree the answer is probably no. No disrespect to Jackson, but we are just seeing a more clinical striker in João Pedro. Who was better, Jackson or Tammy? For me, Jackson. Jackson was better. But I would have probably said Tammy Abraham's a better finisher. But I'd say Jackson's a better player, at least for Chelsea. I can't speak for Milan and Roma and all those other stints. I think our shape gets quite narrow when we attack, which is why we tend to struggle against teams like Bayer, which defend deep in the box. Thought we were a bit blunt up until that second goal. You know what? Again, when we talk about pre-season, the stance I take in these two games, the Milan game as well, is I wouldn't look too much into it, even if we're great, if we're not great. Ultimately, we're trying new things, new players are coming in, and this is the time to experiment. So if you lose 4-0, doesn't really matter. If you then go into the season having learned all those lessons in pre-season, not that we've had a real pre-season, and then you can obviously carry through what you know does work, as opposed to you tried this, it didn't work, and going from that angle. But yeah, I think the midfield is looking pretty good as well. Happy with what I saw from Andre Santos. Was it Andre Santos? From Andre Santos. Happy with what I saw from Caicedo as well. There was that challenge from Quansah as well on Palmer, and that was disgusting. I was going, fucking hell. And to be fair, now I know why I don't sit in the West View more often. I felt like standing up and just raging, and everyone sat around me was just silent. I was like, God, thank God I don't have to sit here every week. Like, honestly, I don't, like, no disrespect to anyone that sits in those stands. Like, fair play, you're coming out, you're supporting the team, but there's nothing more frustrating as a fan who wants to get a little bit vocal than basically seeing zero enthusiasm to get vocal in the stands. Like, watching the shed end make all that noise at one point, well, at least trying to get chants going, and you just think to yourself, like, right, they've started a chant. Can we not at least join in, get some atmosphere going in the stadium? It just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. The East and the West stands are just write-offs now in terms of atmosphere, just total write-offs. So yeah, I mean, that was frustrating. If I had to sit anywhere in the West stand, it would be upper. Lower just annoys me, because if you're close to the players, you want to. I don't know, man. At least West upper, you got a cracking view. I'm not a fan of being low. I like being a bit higher, but not too high. But just above the pitch, a good height above the pitch. Yeah, we did look good in terms of fitness, and that is a very, very positive sign. So what a lot of the players would have been doing is just training, on their holidays, and some players don't want to do it. Some players do. We know Hazard; he's a good example. He never liked doing that, and then maybe he was a little bit unfit when he came back. But at least now we know. We haven't even spoken about Esteval, guys. My God, Esteval is unreal. He was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I thought Gittins was impressive. I was speaking with someone on the fan cams after about Gittins. They said Gittins was their favorite player to watch. I thought, okay, that's interesting. But Esteval was really refreshing to see on that right-handed side. Quite sexy as well when you've got a left footer that cuts in. I don't know. It's just nice to watch, isn't it? Like, we remember when Palmer was there. It's just, I don't know. It just feels nice knowing you got someone who can cut in and have a shot. Also, Esteval just seems to have that, what's the word? Ability to be able to just read where the ball is at times, so he can get himself into a position to score. And that's exactly what he did when he got his goal. Obviously, Palmer had his shot saved, might have come off the bar. And then Esteval tapped it in, and I thought, fair play. Did he look better than Madueke? Oh, my God. Absolutely. I said this after, I was chatting with some of the guys, and I said, it's unbelievable what's happened. Like, honestly. And they went, yeah, but we knew it was going to be good enough. My thing was like, yeah, but you hear so much hype about so many different types of players, and it ends up being absolutely, it's untrue, basically. It's not true. And I just thought Esteval's actually living up to the hype. I mean, that's brilliant. How many players have been so hyped up and not performed? There's a long list. How come you was moaning again last night? Jonathan said you was moaning at halftime, lol, brother. What do you want from the club at this point? Well, I wasn't even sitting in my normal seats. So, yeah, good one. What is Hato's best position, centre back or right back? Well, he's a left back or a right back. So, yeah, he doesn't play right back. But I mean, he's basically played a lot of minutes in both positions over a full season. So it's hard to say which position I'd rather see him in. I think I just need to see him play for us first, and then I can give you more of an opinion on that. If Noni stayed, he would have been third or fourth choice on the right wing. Oh, on the right wing, not just as a winger in general. Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're not wrong. Team prediction. Well, I honestly don't know what to think about the team. What I hope is that we see very different players compared to. Yeah, I'm hoping we can see something very, very different. I don't want to see Palmer start. I don't want to see Esteval start, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have a problem with Andre Santos starting if we know that Enzo Fernandez will start against Crystal Palace. But if Andre Santos is in contention for that game, I wouldn't want him to play. I don't want Caicedo to play. Don't want Reece James to play. I don't want to see Cucurella playing. Probably would start Delap again, to be fair, because I don't necessarily think he's going to start every single game. So it makes sense to give him a run out while we can. So I would start Delap. And I probably would start Jamie Gittins as well. I wouldn't start Pedro Neto. But I mean, you can be as picky as you want with this stuff, right? I'm no Messiah. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's best. That's just like off the top of my head. I mean, we can do a little lineup builder, just a quick one. I would like to see Robert Sanchez, although I can appreciate if Jorgensen starts. I think that would make sense, to be fair. So I haven't got anything against that. 4-2-3-1. Sanchez on the left. We're going to say Hato. We're going to go. Who played last time? It was Anselmino came on as well. Oh my god. We saw Chalobah and we saw Achimpong. I probably would start Achimpong again, to be fair. Let's just say the Tosin. Yeah, Tosin came on. Okay, probably start Tosin then. And then I start Achimpong over this side. Now, providing that Reece James is starting against Palace, then I would play Gusto again. And I wouldn't have a problem with it. The other side is you could play Achimpong as a right back. We have seen that before. And then you take Gusto out for someone else. I want to see Asugo starting. I want to see. I want to make sure I don't miss anyone out. To be fair, I wouldn't mind Raksaki getting some minutes. Which one is it? Samuel Raksaki, is that the one? Yeah, Samuel. He hasn't even got a face. Come on, guys. Give him a face, man. Okay. The lap up front again. Potentially what we could do is we could swap Achimpong as well and put Anselmino in there. That's an option. That could work. Do you know what? I'll probably take Raksaki out of that, to be fair. I probably would start Santos. Because again, you want the new arrivals to just get used to playing at the bridge. Do I really? No, I appreciate that, but at the same time, if they are, I don't think that you need to play them twice in 2 days. I don't necessarily think that. I believe one of the reasons they're doing these games in close proximity as well, and the reason they're doing this at Stamford Bridge was to test out the ticketing software for fans' tickets, which has failed, and we saw that. We saw that failed because you weren't able to transfer your tickets to anyone else. You had to scan everything on the same phone. So that's actually one of the reasons I think they've done these games. Was more for commercial reasons, like testing out the ticketing software. Obviously, the players want to have a run out, but it doesn't make sense to me to start Palmer and risk him getting injured. I just don't want to see that. Yeah, go on then. What have they said? Why not? Tosin is criminally underrated. He makes a few mistakes, brings much needed height experience, and because of his age, he seems to bring a calming influence to this team. Big up Alex and all the chat. When I heard Bowley say we'll create a 100-point team, I thought delusional. I can see it coming in the next few years. Up the Chelsea. Yeah, big up to you as well, mate. Like, look, to be fair, I'm not. I don't know if we'll get to 100 points. I'm not sure about that, but the thing for me has been progression. If we are consistently progressing, then that's the main thing. Yeah, and something on the left. Cheers for that, Chris. As long as we're improving, I just think it's hard to be critical. And people go, well, if you're not achieving what you need to achieve, then that's not good enough. And that's fine. But as long as we're improving, you can't say we're going backwards. And that's always been my not fear, but that's been a concern, is are Chelsea going backwards? So I went to the pub before the game, and you know who I bumped into? I bumped into CFC Con, I bumped into Jem, and I bumped into Pies as well, who I've never met before. So I bumped into Max, that's his real name. And they were all grilling me. Well, some of them were grilling me. They were going, fucking hell, Alex, you love Poch. And I was going, I was like, guys, hang on a sec. By the way, I'm not going to go too much on it, but I was like, we improved on 12th by finishing 6th, and then we finished 4th. So as much as you may hate him or what Chelsea were at that point, you can't deny that it was improvement on the previous season. That's why I've come off Maresca. He's improved us. We have improved. We've obviously supported him as well as a manager. Rightly so. That's exactly what you should do. But there you go. They said that you don't deserve a season ticket and you know nothing about Chelsea, and you should be ashamed of yourself for being a brown envelope It's on Tobes' stream. I mean, I don't even know who the hell this Tobes guy is. No disrespect. I don't really know who he is. So fair play to him. You know, fair play. I don't see Paul winning the Ballon d'Or, but does he then on the podium? I don't know what that means either. You'll never live down being a Poch fanboy. There you go. It is what it is. I can take a bit of heat, but I can never lose an argument about it because fundamentally, my reasons are right. Did we improve? Yes. So I will always be right about that particular argument. So if anyone ever wants to debate me on that, no problem. Endo needs to play, hasn't had any minutes. Well, apparently he had a small injury. If the injury's fine now, then yeah, stick him in. Happy for Enzo to go in if that's the case. Who else is there? Not having Palmer. Wouldn't mind Gittins, to be fair. Neto, don't want to see him again. Yeah, let's start Antwi. Get the young lads in. Have I spelled it right? Antwi, yeah, I have. Right, he doesn't have a profile. All right, let's pick someone else then. Yeah, to be honest, you guys can help me finish this one off. I'm not actually sure for the last two. I just don't want to see Palmer in there. I don't want to see Palmer. Maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about Cam. No, I mean, I typed in the name, mate, but it didn't come up. What's going on with Javi Simmons again? Don't know, mate. He's going to have words with you at the Palace game. Brilliant. I look forward to that. That's going to be fun. How can he have words with me? He's banned. He's banned. He can't have words with me. He's not allowed to go. I suppose he can stand outside the stadium. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Johnny's banned. So not sure how that works. How did we survive Neto and Sancho as our primary wingers last season? Again, hang on a second. Neto for me is a solid winger. I've always liked Neto. I don't have a problem with Neto. He just needs to get his GA up, which he has, especially at the Club World Cup. I would argue he was our best player in that competition. So I think that's really harsh. In terms of Sancho, again, he was pretty okay. He wasn't terrible. He wasn't great. He was okay. He had some great moments. He had some poor moments. But yeah, I mean, I've always preferred Neto over Sancho if I had to pick out of the two, because Neto's had that work rate. So I'd still potentially start Neto in games. I don't know how ready Estevao is for the Premier League. I don't know how ready Maresca thinks Estevao is. Delap, Gittins, Neto. Oh, you play a midfield 3. Okay, that makes sense. Hey, man, I've got nothing against it. We'll see what happens. We'll see. We will see. Big up to everyone watching. We've got over 500 of you on all platforms. As it stands, if you are on YouTube, we've got just under 100 of you on YouTube. Smash that like button. We haven't even got 50 likes yet. Let's aim to get up to 60 before the end of the show. On X as well. Please support it. All helps. Smash that like button on X. Retweet as well so more people can see what we're doing. And big up to all of you. Right, let's touch on and actually see if there's anything that I have missed as well, because we have sort of just spoken about the game rather than seeing any updates that have come out. It doesn't seem like it's been too busy, to be fair. Relatively quiet day for Chelsea news, but there is a little bit. Nice is negotiating for David Datro Fofana, and Toulouse are also interested. Chelsea demanding a one-off transfer. Both Nice and Toulouse are trying to find a financial solution. Nice has instead raised the idea of a loan with an option to buy. So that'll be interesting, whether that anything comes from there. Obviously, looking at Xavi Simons as well, he did start the other day for Leipzig. So listen, until it's done, it's not done until it's done. So I don't have an issue with it. He's their player, isn't he? So no complaints from me. You do your thing, guys. Liverpool would have a clear run, according to, is this the Times? The Telegraph. A clear run at Mark Gurley as Chelsea currently prioritising other transfer targets despite Levi Colwell's anterior ligament injury, leaving them short at the back. Now, for me, Mark Gurley was one of the defenders that I've advocated to sign alongside Hato. I always said those two, but I also mentioned Jonathan Tah before he went to Bayern Munich. But it doesn't look like that's a priority anymore. And I have to admit that I'm not sure that it is a priority. If for me, more of a priority would be the goalkeeper. And if we're not getting another goalkeeper, we're not going to get a centre back. That's the way I see it. But it depends how hard we end up. How hard we end up pushing, you know? If Maresca's desperate, then maybe the club will back him, because it's not like he hasn't repaid their faith. According to Fabrizio Romano, the intention is still for Renato Vega to leave Chelsea despite the injury to Levi Cole. I know that will probably annoy a few people as well, but I'm not bothered by that. I think it's fair. I think it's absolutely fair, and I think that if the guy doesn't want to be at the club, don't force him. And he's a good player. He's a good player, but he's not a great player. He's not a world beater for us. He can be replaced. He can be replaced. So yeah, that's the way that I see it. Eden Hazard as well had an interview speaking about Chelsea, and he said, my kids love Chelsea. They're Chelsea supporters. They're less supportive of Real Madrid because I didn't perform as well for Real Madrid when I played for them. But I think they're Chelsea fans. And he said he's coming to Chelsea as well. So I presume he's going to watch the Crystal Palace game at Stamford Bridge. Well, that'd be cool seeing Eden Hazard there. So we'll see. But yeah, he says, yeah, so they are avid Chelsea fans, the Hazard family. Hey, big up to him, Chelsea legend. No, he's not a cam, but he can play as a cam. I think that's possible. I guess we've seen Enzo Fernandez do that, right? So might not be your number one pick, but you can do it. Lavi's injured, classic. The only way to get another centre back if there's another injury before the transfer window closes. Well, if that is the case, then you are spot on, my friend. We definitely need to get someone else in, because we can't look. The thing is, the way I justify it now, and people say, hang on a second, Alex, why are you advocating or sort of encouraging Chelsea to basically sign Garnacho? And my response to that is, it's 30 million. You're not going to lose money. You will make money if you want to sell him. You certainly won't lose it. He's not going to make the squad worse. If he does perform badly, you can just move him on, no problem. You've got other players that can play there. And again, like, who are we going to bring in? Which centre back is that? If that centre back is Mark Gurhey, then I'm not complaining. I don't have a problem with that. Definitely don't have an issue with that. I think Mark Gurhey's a great centre back. I think he was one of England's best players when we played in the Euros. I think Mark Gurhey was sensational for England, and not only that, I think he's been great for Crystal Palace. I think he's been an absolute pleasure to watch whenever he plays for them. If you're able to perform at that level consistently for Crystal Palace, then I don't have much doubt that you'll be good at Chelsea. Not to mention the fact that he's been called up for internationals as well. So, yeah, Mark Gurhey would be a great signing. But knowing the way that we operate in the transfer market, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we wait and try and take him on a free. The same as Magnan, the same as Donnarumma, and could be potentially the same as Xavi Simons if we don't get this wrapped up in, at the moment. So very, very interesting couple of weeks that we're going to have until the transfer window closes. And I think ultimately all we can do is just hope that we can keep a squad fit enough to operate at a decent level and we can still rotate. But if there is one reason to get another option, it's because Maresca will utilize that option. We have seen that when we have to rotate, Maresca doesn't mess around. He almost prioritizes rotation over results. And we saw that in the Conference League final, right? When we didn't play Reece James, we dropped him and then he came on as a substitute. People going, why didn't you start the guy? And he went, because I didn't want him to get injured. I'm taking care of him. It's a fucking cup final, man. Now, if we would have lost that game, he would have got absolutely ridiculed. But we didn't lose. We won. And in the end, what he did paid off. And I think Maresca, a bit like Guardiola, that they are good managers to have with large squads. I think they can utilize them. That being said, there were players that we didn't utilize last season, João Felix and Kunku, and obviously Vega as well. But the beauty of Champions League football is that even if someone's just playing in European games, the level's good. It's a good level. So it's not like you're being degraded or looked down upon if you're not playing in a Premier League game, because you're then going to start on a Tuesday, Wednesday night. So it will be a different type of rotation. We'll go from having two teams to having one team where we have to decide if we're going to give certain players 2 games a week or if we're just going to do one. Like, how's that going to work? And also the way we rotate as well is going to be very interesting in terms of what we prioritize. Reece James, for example, only playing 1 match a week. Will that be Premier League matches? Will that be Champions League matches? Will it be both occasionally? And the same for other players like Lavia, like Fofana, like Pedro Neto, who actually was very good last season, but he does have quite a poor injury record from his time at Wolves. I think you have to still manage a player like that. So there are definitely things that we need to look at. But look, I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling good about the season. And I think ultimately we just have to wait and see what happens. Like, I don't really have a crystal clear prediction for anyone. I just think we've got to wait and see what happens. Zeno says, I'm no fan of Garnacho, but having him is a good squad option. Those wingers that played in the Club World Cup need to be rested for the first part of the season to avoid injuries. We still haven't sold Sterling or Chilwell. They're the most difficult to get rid of. It's true. Natalie says, I really do hope we get Xavi Simons over the line, because getting only Nash's would leave a sour taste for me. Jose and Conte would use 14 players all season. That is true. It's true. Evening mate rotation is going to be important on fighting on all fronts. That's why we need 3 capable strikers. I really don't want us shipping Nicholas Jackson out. I agree with you, mate, on that one. I also agree with the other side, though, that if it's good value, then you need to sell him. So I'm sort of on. I see both sides of that one. But listen, guys, smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to stay updated, turn your notifications on, and you can see every time I stream and when new videos come out as well. I will be back tomorrow with a stream before the Game of Match Day stream. Really appreciate your time, guys, and we will catch up very, very soon. All the best. And